Good morning. It's the Morning DNA for December 28th, 2020. I am Aaron Dicer, the man of a single black shirt. She is Danae Hughes, the woman of a million distractions. And we're here to find out what this wonderful day is made of. Yes, Danae.
I know that line. Woohoo!
You figured it out. I was just noticing, like with some of the comments, like we'll say good morning to Doc this morning. A little bit of an animation added to the comments popping up. Have you noticed that? I'll do another one from Caleb here.
Okay.
Are you ready to watch it?
I'm watching.
Whoa.
Whoa.
How fun is that?
Ooh.
Also, some new options as well. You can do bubble. How do you feel about bubble? Do you
I'm
like
loving
bubble?
the bubble. Can we
go with
bubble, please?
Maybe
Yes.
go with block?
No,
No, we're going with bubble. We're doing
I
bubble.
want bubbles.
All right.
Although we could be persuaded to do other things. Leave a comment and let us know what you would
Yes.
like us to do.
That's right.
Our
It's your
podcast
show.
listeners love this part of the show. It's so visual.
I was trying to click. Let's see. Lollipop says, "Arg, I had forgotten about the dragon shirt." Yeah, it's still here for a couple more shows.
This is why we did 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
5 appearances so that everyone has a chance to see it, remember it, love it.
Yes.
I couldn't think of anything else.
It may have to make an annual appearance from here on out for Christmas. So.
Like the Christmas dragon shirt.
Yeah. Let's see. Breezy Lady B is like bubbles. Bubbles.
Yay!
It's a
Good
Finding
morning,
Nemo
Breezy
line.
Lady B.
Bubbles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
this
very
is
nice.
fun. Yeah, and Matt's also hopping in on the bubble me.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's that smooth edge, you guys. It's just that nice roundness. It's not so, angular.
Not so stark
Yeah.
and angular and stuff.
Corners are angry.
Corners are bad. Get rid of
They
the
hurt.
corners.
Who wants a corner? Nobody.
Round tones.
Round tones.
Do you know what that's from?
No, but it's immediately making me think of my Great British Baking Show watching experience over the weekend.
Sure. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. But I am curious as if anybody in the chat knows where that's.
Round tones.
Yes.
Also, it's like a smooth brain,
Smooth
which
brain.
we all need more of.
I don't know. Doc has an underscore in his username, and that's very sharp and angular, and it's really thrown me off with the bubbles.
Lolly
Yes!
says, "Singing in the Rain."
You got it, Lolly. Very nicely done. Greatest movie ever made, Singing in the Rain.
I'm singing in the
It's when
rain.
she's trying to teach the actress who has never done, audio in her movies how to speak. And she's trying to get her to do round tones, because her voice is very much like the nanny, like Fran Drescher.
Oh, Franny. Well, there's a place for everybody.
There is. There's definitely a place for everybody. Well, how are you doing, Danae? You doing all right?
Yeah, so there's lots going on in my world.
Yeah. Tell me
But
about
I think the things you're going to be most excited about are the things that are behind me. I have a Paddington up on top of my
That's
end.
not Paddington.
Well, his name is
that's-
Paddington.
That's not Paddington. I know Paddington's a bear with a red hat and a blue jacket.
So
Where is this Paddington from?
I feel like this is a time to remind you and really everyone that there can be more than one of things. And
No,
this is
no.
another Paddington.
No,
This
it's
is
not okay.
Paddington. This is Paddington the Rock Giant from a story of the Dreamland Chronicles. I'll get the book so you can see him kind of right. Yeah.
Oh, I do see him. Yeah, I see the volumes there. Yep.
So this is the Dreamland Chronicles.
Oh.
And it's kind of hard to see. Sorry.
Yeah, it's out of focus.
There
Your
we go.
camera's having trouble with it. There you go. Yeah.
So the artist, Scott Savo. I've dropped something on the floor. It's going to bother me. So
Well,
I'm going to pick it up.
You're good. Yeah. Scott Sava sent you a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so he's an artist that I really enjoyed his Dreamland Chronicles creation. It started as a web comic, and it was all done in 3D tech back when 3D tech wasn't really popular, so it was really cool. And then it turned into some books, and then it's being re-released as another web comic with a new artistry. And he sent me some sweet stuff for Christmas.
That's
so
awesome. Yeah,
I have
it's
some
really
stuff.
cool.
So I wanted to point out Paddington behind me today.
That is very, very cool. And when you're just, sitting in your regular spot, it looks like Paddington's like your
I
head
know.
parrot.
I feel like I need to move some stuff around in my studio, but it's fine because Paddington's super cute up there. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of distracted by that
I think
today.
if you put him like on the A, maybe like then maybe it would maybe work a little better. He wouldn't look like he was like sprouting from your cranium, which I think is
But isn't
the
that
issue
kind
you're
of
dealing
fun?
with. No, I think it's a blast.
Yeah.
You said you might want
It's
to
my
move
first
things around.
time to stream with Paddington, so I'm a
Right,
bit distracted by him. He will
Yes.
just become a normal thing.
Yes. Lolly wants to make sure I know that the original Paddington had a black hat. Okay.
Oh.
Does that mean he's a villain? I thought black hats were meant for villains. That's what the Westerns taught me.
Well, that's just silliness.
There can be more than one thing, says a Jennifer of the early 80s, to another Jennifer of the early 80s, to a man that's married to a Jennifer of the early 80s.
So many Jennifers. But I've been going by my middle name for long enough now, so.
It is well known when I was in my my dating years of high school that I exclusively dated Jennifers. I probably dated about 5 or 6 different Jennifers over the course of like 8th grade to, whatever.
What a slut.
Hey, what's up with the shaming? What's up with the shaming?
I just wanted to say something incredibly, unexpected.
Listen, I think you should get to know as many people as possible
No,
during
just
that
Jennifers.
time, as long as their name is Jennifer.
Jennifers.
Yeah, as long as their name is Jennifer, you're okay.
Oh my God. I am a little bit distracted this morning. Oh, go ahead with JCD's comments. I was going to mention that too.
Yeah, waiting on a COVID test result, and the morning DNA is just what I need. Glad to be here for you, JCD. I hope everything in your life is negative this morning. It's a weird thing to say, but
nope. We hope it's all
crossed.
Bubbles and negative, negative bubbles.
Negative bubbles. Yeah. So things are going okay. You've got all the new stuff.
I do have some new stuff
in your world. Coming through Christmas, everything happened all right. Traditions, all that kind of fun stuff. Because the last time we spoke was the day before Christmas, the day before Christmas. I think it was Christmas Eve day.
I think I'm going to talk about a lot of that for my
for your
conversation
topic.
For my topic. Yeah.
Okay.
But right now everything is good. I wanted to mention that I was really distracted when we first started the show because I realized that I hadn't bought something for Iris on our Gardenscapes game. So I'm having a wonderful time. It's a very normal world over here. Everybody's at least in this household is healthy and happy. I'm watching them on the monitor. My husband and my daughter are sleeping in together. I expect any moment to be completely disrupted by a toddler that's like, "Where are you, Mom?" So I have
she'll wake up, but Justin won't, and so she'll come try to find you. That's very possible, I guess.
I locked my door, so I'm a little nervous about that. So I'm very distracted, but she'll be really happy. She'll be bummed that I'm not there when she wakes up, but she'll be really happy that I managed to remember to buy her snow ground before it expired on Gardenscapes.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, she'll be happy about that. The Thunder Llama says toddlers are like little drunk people. That's true.
Man.
That's true. Who is it? Gaffigan does a great bit about that, about having toddlers is like having a drunk roommate.
Oh my gosh. Especially if the drunk roommate won't stop touching your face. I'm
right.
Like, can you please just stop touching my face? I love you. Get your grubby hands off my face.
It's a good bit. I haven't heard that in a long time, but Gaffigan definitely does that bit. That's a lot of fun. Yeah.
How about things for you? How are things in the Dicer home?
I'll talk about that a little bit in my topic too.
Okay. Cool.
But it is definitely a coming through the holidays, especially this year, it's just been so different. Like things have just been different, and that's an understatement, and I get it. But I think it's good. I honestly, my wife looked at me as Christmas Day was coming to a close and said, "I think this has been one of the best Christmases ever." And I was like, "Yeah, I think it was really nice and really fun." And
that's awesome.
And it felt really good. So
that's great.
I think there's an element of with the holidays, and I know it's not this way for everybody. I really do, but there is something about the holidays that encourages optimism in my in the people around me and in my heart and those kind of things. And so
Mm-hmm.
there's an element of it that is so needed right now that it feels really good to have a day where you're like, let's just be happy together and have fun together and, give each other gifts and watch movies and talk
Yeah.
about stuff. And so, yeah, we watched Wonder Woman 1984 and Soul. We watched both the new movies that came out on Christmas on streaming, and, as a family, and had a good time talking about them, and
Wow.
enjoyed them to varying degrees, as you can hear on my pop culture podcast if you want to.
Which Lauren said she enjoyed. Enjoyed Stiff Pop yesterday.
Yeah.
Glad you agree with me on WWE.
no, World War 84. No, Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, it's not good, unfortunately. Soul, on the other hand, is great. Soul is amazing. Did you guys get a chance to watch Soul yet?
No, we were watching Christmas movies so much. Christmas Eve, over the weekend. We've just been watching. Iris is really loving The Grinch, the Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch that released a couple years ago. She's really enjoying that one. Yesterday, there's this moment in that movie when he's kind of like pumping himself up to become Santa Claus. So he has like this really weird, after he was really angry and they like turn him into this little workout Grinch where he's wearing hot pink workout gym shorts and he's like doing this like squats. And so when the dog comes up the little doggy thing and opens up the little doggy door, it's just like Grinch butt in his face doing these squats.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there. I mean, it had been 6 hours since we watched the movie, and Iris just starts laughing to herself. And I asked her what was up. She's like, that part when the Grinch bends over and shows his pink butt is just so funny. So she's super into that movie right now. But
Butts
no,
are funny,
we didn't
man.
watch Soul. But I've heard really wonderful things about Soul. I've been seeing social media, and I've been reading about Wonder Woman thoughts as well. So.
Yeah, Elizabeth says we watched Soul on Christmas and we loved it. I will say, I'm not sure how Iris will react. I'm not sure how kids will react to Soul in general.
I don't know. I don't know. She's really into Over the Moon.
Scare her or anything, but
she's into Over the Moon and The Grinch right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to scare her or anything. And there will be things that activate her imagination, and there are visual things that she'll find interesting. But man, that is a movie about existential questions about life and purpose and meaning, and like, it's pretty deep stuff. Now, I don't want to sell kids short. Like, kids can start thinking about that kind of stuff. But that is one question I had afterwards, is just like, I wonder how especially younger kids are going to interact with this movie. So yeah.
Breezy says so is Over the Moon in ways, and I think I would agree with that too.
Sure.
That movie deals with the death of a mother, which by the way, did a warning label on that one the first time I started watching it and lost it. I've talked about it on the show before. Went back and finished watching it, and it was really, really good. So when we're watching that movie together, Iris, she'll say things like she's crying because she misses her mom, and her mom died, and she's having big emotions, and so she's kind of seeing what's happening, and she's processing it as a 3-year-old, which is really incredible to watch.
Interested. Yeah, I'm really interested in Iris's thoughts on Soul if you guys decide to watch it as a family. So
I guess I'd be like, Iris, do you want to start a podcast with me
That's
where
right.
we review? And she, as a 3-year-old, is talking about the
Pop
big
toddler.
emotions happening.
Yeah, the Pop Toddler podcast.
There is absolutely no way to transition and shift gears back over to us talking about high school dating and such. But there is a comment I really want to point out from De Thunder Llama, who says, my high school dating was awful. Almost went to jail, flipped a car, and got kicked by a girl's horse, all because I tried dating in high school.
Yeah.
I had to go back to that. That's pretty incredible. Congratulations on surviving.
And my thing as well is a lot also that these words we put on it put these weird labels of pressure on it, like dating or seeing someone or boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, for me, it was just about having friends and learning about people, and yes, holding hands and
and
kissing
snogging.
and that kind of thing. But
but only Jennifer's.
But only Jennifer's. But I'm just saying you're figuring out what that means in your life. Like, it's I don't know. I think especially in middle school and high school too, like the exclusivity thing is just it's like a disease. It really is, like this idea that everybody has to pair off, and I don't know. That's just my thing.
No,
and I
I'm
know,
with you. The more we talk about it, the more I am fully and firmly just right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm already having the conversations with Justin about how we're going to manage Iris as she becomes interested in her social circles growing up.
Yeah, totally.
This one from Lolly, who says, my brother and his girlfriend had a COVID scare. She's an in-home nurse.
Okay.
They got the call saying they were negative and safe on Christmas Day and were able to show up and see my Nana mid-Christmas dinner. Aw. My sister and I joined via Zoom, and it felt magical.
Nice.
I really do wish we had done something Zoomy for Christmas. We just didn't. We just didn't. We probably really should have, though.
We've been Zooming holidays long before COVID, not Zooming, Googling, meeting, hangouting, whatever you want to use.
Videoing.
But yeah, video conferencing, because my entire family, actually both sides of our family, my wife and I live elsewhere. Most of her family's in Michigan. Most of my family is all over. Well, that's just kind of been our practice. So we're already in practice of doing that. So yeah, we had, video conference on Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's just a normal thing for us every year. I really wish we
would have.
Yeah.
But that's okay. There's still time. It's not like, we didn't do it on Christmas, so we can't video conference.
That's right. Sorry, you missed your chance.
I'm 100% with sarcastic honey badger who says Iris will date when she's 30 and not a moment before.
Well,
congratulations.
Iris can come talk to her friend Erin then, if her mom's going to be have her head in the sand and be in denial about things.
You're gonna be her outlet for trying to be the middle ground between
the parental hammer.
Yeah. I don't even know what kind of mother I'm going to be at that point. What am I saying? I might be just like, fine, whatever, do whatever you want. Just remember, my door is always open. You're making a dumb decision. Been there, done that.
Or a great decision. You don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to know some dumb decisions. I do hope that we have the kind of relationship that I had with my mother, which my mom was always like, you can tell me anything. You don't ever have to be afraid to tell me anything. I want to know everything. And then she regretted that greatly, I'm sure, at multiple points in my life. But she always knew what I was getting myself into. Almost always knew what I was getting myself into. Which only meant that I had somebody like in my corner who knew the details. Yeah. So anyway.
Yep. Yeah. I just realized I was talking about discipline as the parental hammer and then realized you actually had a parental hammer. You have literally a parental hammer. Your dad's name.
My dad's name is Hammer.
Is actually Hammer.
So he can be amazing. That.
Well, you ready to shoot a dough?
Let's do it.
All right. We are going to.
That was very anime. Let's go.
That was really good. We are going to do the D and A and U. The D is the D topic. That is Danae's topic for the morning. The A is the Aaron topic for the morning. That's me. And then you have your topic for the morning. That can be anything you want us to talk about, any question you have for us. This is a AUA, Ask Us Anything. We will answer as we see fit. If you want to go ahead and get your U topics in, just make sure you put a capital U at the beginning of the comments so we can scan through the comments and see those easier. We as yet do not have a producer searching for comments for us. So
yeah, we have to.
So we have to.
What a terrible life we live that we have to really scroll. Painful.
This finger just scrolls on the mouse.
I do have to say, though, that when my mouse broke and I had to buy a new one and I had to wait for it to come in the mail, there was probably about 4 or 5 days where I couldn't scroll and it was just awful. I use my scrolling mouse part so much.
Danae,
that little wheel is like...
Tell us more about this horrible trauma in your life in 2020. Like, this is... I don't know how you made it mouse, through. Though,
and it has this real soft click. It's like, it doesn't go click, click. It's like... It's just this little padded sound. I love this mouse.
When you hold your mouse like that, it's like, I wonder, like, it reminded me of like
what is she holding?
Like Minority Report, where like all the actions are like hands in the air and like different, like, like you control your interface and yes, you do that kind of scroll, swipe. Think that'll ever be a thing? Like Google, the Pixel phone tried to do this. It was a complete failure. The new Pixels have.
Who wants to do it? That's the question. Who wants to be like?
Yeah, like I'm listening to music and I want to like wave at my phone to have it go to the next song. That's just like never going to happen.
Conducting.
But I
don't know.
think if it's in the right environment, we might start to learn how to interact that way. Like, I think it's been a learning process to interact by voice too, right? But more of us are doing it now where we're instructing things like our remote to search for a show or those kind of things via voice. And you start to find, oh, that's actually kind of easier. That's how change happens. It happens
That is
practically
how change
day to day.
happens.
Yeah.
That's Aaron's topic today. We'll get to that in a second.
And we're done. All right, Danae, what is the D topic for today?
Okay, what do you guys assume will become your standout memory from Christmas 2020? We've kind of talked about some things already, but for us this year, it's kind of nuts. My dad wasn't feeling well, and then on Christmas Eve, we found out he does indeed have COVID. So all of a sudden, it went from having like our whole Christmas celebration as expected to just the three of us in our home, which let's just say I'm so thankful that we had decided to take a stab at the ham this year because we were able to have a main dish and a side dish and the things we'd already shopped for to prepare for our Christmas celebration. So we already had a lot of stuff ready. So we really kind of proceeded as we would have anyway. And Iris obviously still had her gifts from us, but there was no seeing my parents. That's the first time in my entire life I have not seen my parents on Christmas. And so that was a bit awkward and strange and
That's
definitely
really-
scary and
it's really-
certainly like weird.
Yeah, it's really interesting because this year was the first year since I don't know when where I have been with my parents on Christmas. So what a weird correlation
It's your fault.
to have. And in both cases, the reason is COVID. Isn't that interesting?
It's like a yin
So-
yang experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of creepy.
That's very interesting.
So doo-doo.
So do you really feel like that's going to be your standout memory is just how different it was?
Oh yeah, I do. But mostly because now, obviously he's doing okay. He's tired and he's getting through what he's got to get through. So right now we're just praying and my mom is going to be going to get her COVID test today. If her COVID test is positive, then that means that we were exposed because we saw my mother. So Iris has definitely been exposed because she saw her grandpa the day that he started to have symptoms. So we're just like, okie dokie. So it's close again, so we're kind of not only, I don't know, it was a weird experience where we're like, we're going through the holiday experience of exchanging gifts and making memories together. And really, truly, it was a magical day for us in our home because Iris wanted to get a baby doll for Christmas. We were talking about what she was most excited about back in September. And then in October, I took her onto a website to show her like baby doll options. They have different colored skin and different colored hair. And she originally picked out a beautiful dark-skinned baby doll with dark hair. And I was like, sure, if that's the doll you want, that's no problem. And then she changed her mind. And we went back several times until she went to the same one multiple times. I knew which one she wanted. And then that was months ago. And she's been talking about it. We've been telling her that, Santa was going to bring it and all, wrapping in Santa into this one gift. The rest of the gifts are from mom and dad and our dogs, Reese's and Twix and Bommy and Bobo and just, like the other people in her life. But this one gift she wanted the very most. And so seeing her open that one because she's struggled with waiting and patience because she's 3, so she's been struggling. She's like, I want that doll so bad. And then we'll sit down, we'll talk about, sometimes we have to wait for things. And while we wait, we can think about ways to, live our life. And just like we've been using it as a teaching tool for so long. So for her to have this payoff of this baby doll, I think that's the second thing that's really going to stand out for me in 2020 is seeing like for the first time, because she was 2 last year, she was an infant the previous year. Like this is really the first super engaged Christmas that Iris has had. And so it's really changed the holiday season for me in general. I've enjoyed Christmas 1,000-fold different than I have any other year because it's very magical for her. And my husband, who is a Christmas junkie, he's loving that she's loving it. So that will definitely be a stand-up memory, but then also just having to shift so much of our expectations with COVID. So it's definitely affecting us differently.
Kayla from the real world says 3-year-olds, famously patient individuals.
Famously.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to remember lots of playing cards. We've played a lot of cards with my parents over this Christmas. It's been really fun. And there's something about just, sitting around the table and, the card playing is almost secondary. It kind of dominates, obviously, what you're doing because it's a competition and it's fun and those kind of things. But it's, it's that quality time, right? And so,
and you'll remember that your parents were here.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's kind of part of it. So, yeah, we'll go through some of the others. And by the way, yes, we know we missed the FAQ this morning, but
we'll get to it.
We will get to it between the D and the A. Some of the other thoughts, Kayla brings up something that is pretty serious, but is certainly something that will be memorable, especially if you're in the Nashville area, considering what happened there. Caleb says, well, I live in Nashville, so watching news coverage of a bombing kind of dominated Christmas morning 2020. Man, I can't imagine. Nashville has been through so much this year, and, with the tornadoes and this, and COVID in Nashville has been, rampant and really bad, so... Yeah, I think it's valuable to remember that there are all these different kind of things happening around the world and in different people's lives. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely very different.
Mariella says, I watched The Christmas Contract in Bridgerton. Perfect Christmas. I haven't seen either of those things, but yeah.
Lauren says, my memory is watching my 10-month-old nephew try to open presents for his first Christmas.
That is one of the cutest things when they're not so quite old enough to really like get their fingers under there and get the wrapping paper, or they're young enough to try to be figuring out what's even going on.
Right.
Like,
they're just like,
why did you put another level of,
why are you excited you've been telling me not to tear things up and now you want me to, and I'm confused about that.
Very much
Iris,
so.
This year, every time she got a present, she asked, can I tear this one? She was getting permission every time to tear into it. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Let's see. Tyler says, watching my wife draw minions on bananas on Christmas Eve because the elf was leaving and the smile on my son's face.
Why?
Stuff there.
Wait, I'm so confused. Why are we drawing minions on bananas?
It's right there in his comment today. Drawing minions on bananas on Christmas Eve. He says, because, so this is the reason, the elf was leaving. Mm-hmm. So the elf was leaving.
This clears things up so greatly for me.
Right? So now that the elf is leaving, you have to draw minions on bananas. How do you not know this Christmas tradition? I don't understand how this is new to you. When the elf leaves, you draw minions on bananas.
Okay.
This is just how it goes.
I get it now.
All right.
It's so
it's weird I had to explain that to you.
So super clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's been interesting because it's kind of there's I almost want to say bittersweet because of the year, but really,
oh my God, for sure.
But really, the sweetness just kind of overtakes for me. I don't know. Maybe that's just my normal optimistic kind of thing I do, but
it is what you do, and I think it's okay to do that. For you, you've kind of come through a very serious COVID scare, and then you followed up with a celebration.
Right.
For us, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
There's more to celebrate for you because you're kind of through it. For us, it's like, okay, we're going through this during Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can all say that 2020, we're going to have a memory of COVID of some level or another, because it's certainly changed all of our lives.
The good news is we are 4 days away from 2021. And if I understand how calendars work, that means everything goes back to normal.
Everything is different.
It was just for this year. That's how calendars work, right?
I was talking with somebody the other day and they're like, gosh, I can't wait for 2021 because then this COVID thing is going to be over. And I was like,
that's how calendars work.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Yeah. That kind of plays into one of the questions we'll talk about later. I saw that somebody posted the idea of how dates have meanings just because they're interesting dates, but we'll get to that. Before we get to the A question, Danae, do you want to do some FAQ?
Oh, yes.
Do some friendship application question. We do this on Mondays. We're live Sundays and, or excuse me, Mondays and some days.
Some days and also some days.
In some days and also some days. And also possibly some days. But on Mondays, we do an FAQ friendship application question that Danae has designed. What is the question for today, Danae?
I'm going to go on a bunny trail real quick and just say that today my coffee also contains hot chocolate powder mix.
Nice.
It's so yummy.
Yeah.
I can't do that every day, but I'm definitely doing it over the Christmas holiday. It's been a way to festivalize.
Sure. Yeah. Ruin your hot chocolate.
Yeah. And it's so yummy. Ruining my hot chocolate.
You know, I can tell you something I'm doing now. And
I can basically chew it, you guys. It's so yummy. It's so thick. It's just.
If there's one thing that sounds even better than just coffee, it's chewable coffee. Let me tell you. No, there are literally like coffee beans that people eat, right? Like that people snack on. I've seen people do that.
For sure.
That's wild.
Oh, okay. So new bunny trail.
But wait, my bunny trail has to do with your bunny. Can I do my bunny trail first?
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
So I have been over the colder months filling my water, not with room temperature water, with warm to hot water.
Okay.
And I have been drinking, like, it's kind of like drinking tea or
urine?
whatever. No. Why would that be the first thing you think of?
Because I have a towel that pees all the time.
True, that's true. No, it's kind of like drinking tea, just without the awful taste, right? Like it's like
I love tea. Why are you so insulting?
No, you love sweet tea, and that's about the sugar.
I drink unsweet tea.
Okay, fair enough. Anyhow,
Slightly
listen, I know
sweet.
people like tea. I know people like coffee.
Sweet.
I know people like tea. Those people are wrong. That's okay. People can be wrong. But what I've been doing with my water is drinking warm water, and I love it. Like I think if you can get past the psychological thing of all my beverages have to be cold, like there is some real beauty of drinking not just room temperature water, but even warmer water because it really soothes your throat. All those things that people talk about, like singers and those kind of things about drinking warm tea or warm, something or to soothe your throat. You can just do that with water.
I'm just having this memory of like one of the first times I ever tried to like drink something warm before going on stage and singing, and I just didn't. I did not either research or listen properly, and so I had had scalding hot tea, and it just burned my throat. I was like, "This is awful." I'm like going on.
I don't understand how drinking lava is supposed to help my throat.
This is the dumbest thing. Oh my gosh! Would you drink warm? Would you drink warm milk?
Yes, I would.
When we went to Jamaica for our honeymoon, they just had warm milk. When Justin asked for milk with his breakfast, which wasn't just like readily available, and they're like, sure. Expensive option in Jamaica. They just brought it out to the table, and it was just this. He took a sip of it, and his eyes, he was like, this is warm, and it just feels so wrong. So I think some beverages feel wrong when they're warm.
It's a psychological thing.
It is a psychological thing.
And that's what I'm saying. If you can get through the psychology of it, man, it goes down easier. You'll drink more water that way. It feels good. Like
this is warm. See?
Like with all the voice stuff that I do, with all the talking that I do for shows and narration and voiceover and all that stuff, like it's been a revelation for me to not just drink room temperature water, but to actually drink warm water. And
drink warm water, Aaron.
Yeah, it's been good.
Put some honey in there.
You could do that.
Tell me if you like it.
New warm to hot water is better for you. Drinking ice water, your belly has to warm it up to actually use it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Polly.
Wally says Britain is offended by Aaron's tea talk. Likely not the first or last time Britain will be offended by
something that you say.
Opinion that I have. Jen says 1, warm water is lovely. 2, watching our friend tell our British friend that tea was just wet leaves is one of my favorite memories. It's funny because it's true. Oh, mercy.
It is just wet leaves.
It is. That's what tea is.
And coffee is wet bean.
Danae, you had another bunny trail. Do you remember what it was? I think we went too long on this one for you to remember what your bunny trail was, but we can go back to the FAQ, which I think one person answered. We didn't even say it yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I lost my bunny trail. It's okay. It's okay. It is no worries.
So the FAQ for today, Danae.
Yeah, the next question on my friendship application question was fill in the blank. I get cranky when. And again, this portion of the friendship application question was designed to learn more about the person that you're trying to decide if you want to be friends with. Yeah. So you can learn something about them. So my friend, for example, responded to this question by saying, I don't get enough sleep.
I think that's a fairly common one, right? I have a recent example from my family for me, which is apparently when I am on heavy medication, I can get super duper cranky.
Are you talking about after you died?
Yeah, after I died, and they
super punk.
What is punk? What does super punk mean? What does that mean?
You were so snarky.
Yeah,
like to the point where you would say something with such an attitude and like this air of like, you are annoying me just breathing. You didn't say that, but you had that air about you. Like, I don't know who you are, but you are really on my last nerve. And it was so different than your real personality that I remember like I came to see you at the house in that week that you don't remember when you got home from the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you were sitting on the chair and you were just like looking around everybody like, all right, I guess this is where I live. All right. Who are you to me? And I was just looking at your wife going, okay, so is this permanent or we were worried.
So, well, it lasted a while. Apparently those drugs take a long time to get out of your system. And
it was a bother to you.
I had a friend tell me that, yeah, it's like 6 to 9 months before your system is like, completely
Well, you're put
flushed.
into a coma, dude. Like,
yeah, no, I know. And so even like 6 months in, I'm thinking everything should be normal. And some of my friends are like, no, you are still different. You are still not the Aaron I remember, from before. So I can see how it would be a concern. Here's
well,
my
it
question.
was really potent when you first came home. It was like,
oh yeah,
it was really potent.
My earliest memory after the event is I don't, and it's very clouded and it's informed by what my wife has told me about this moment, but was going to a fast food place that I love and eating something that I usually love and it not tasting right to me and me just being furious and just being upset that the food didn't taste right. And it's like, I've been waiting all this time to eat something other than hospital food.
Yeah.
And, this chili cheese burrito is the worst thing I've ever tasted or whatever it was, I don't know if it's Taco Bell or Chick-fil-A or,
I'm just remembering also when we were in the hospital, I think I remember asking you a question because Jen maybe had said something like, I think he's just really frustrated that any of this is happening. And I think I remember either being in the room or talking to you about it or something, but the general sense was that you were so frustrated having a tube in your throat and that this was all just a massive inconvenience. And you're like, I need all of you to do what I say.
Yeah.
And you did talk about this later. You're like, y'all, I'm fine. Get this stuff off of me. Listen to me. I am the best person in this room to know what's going on. Even
did I
though
say that?
No, but that was the attitude. Like, you're like, do what I want. This is my body. Do what I want. And you're just like, you're trying to laser all of us with your eyes because you couldn't talk. You're just like, get this crap off of me. Understandable.
What a time.
Completely understandable.
What a time. So here's the follow-up question. Do you think the drugs changed my personality or just removed gatekeepers from an underlying truth of my personality?
Good
what
question.
Do you think as a good friend of mine would be the answer to that?
I think the second is now that it's been enough time. I think it's the skin. And I feel like it's because once you have a near-death experience, it's kind of like, why do I don't want to be worried about, making everybody else feel good when this is what I really feel.
Well, that's also a thing about getting older too. As people get older and older, those gatekeepers start to drop.
But I think maybe you had so many months of experience of just saying what you were thinking rather than going through the gatekeeping experience that everyone kind of like you maybe got to see how people reacted to you being more blunt, and it's not a big deal. Like you're not blunt to the point of being an absolute beep. You know what I mean? Like you're still Aaron. It's just you're more blunt, Aaron, and I actually like it because I'm a really blunt person. So, what if it's my fault?
But I was mean, right? Like I was
my fault.
But I was also mean, right? Like there was an element of meanness to me there. This is how I understand it. I don't remember any of it. So
I don't know that you were intentionally mean. I think you were insanely put out that any of this was happening to you at all. It was a massive inconvenience.
Insensitive. I was definitely insensitive.
It disrupted your timeline. How dare it?
I'm fine. Let me go home. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Do you know how far back this puts me with my movie watching, you guys?
That's right.
Get me
home.
How
many movies? How many podcasts I've missed? Come on. Lolly confirms my friend does post-op care and anesthetic can make some people really mean and violent. I was never violent, at least as far as I've been told. No, I was never violent.
I would say you probably were more mean because you just that part of you that like would think about, oh, if I say this or if I do this, it'll hurt someone. You're in taking care of yourself mode. But I wasn't there for all that. That'd be Jen. Your beloved wife.
Yeah, she would be the better one to have this conversation with for sure. Polly says, I get cranky when my kids don't listen. I think that's understandable, and I am with you, and that makes sense.
I get cranky when I can't take a step back from being a responsible adult and mother and just play with my friends every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I realized, probably a little over a year ago, my husband and I had a really intense conversation. I was like, I need to remember what my identity is outside of expectations and responsibilities and jobs. Like there's a part of us that we kind of have to lose as we grow up a little bit and have responsibilities and things. And so we decided to very intentionally say, okay, so then you need to find some people to play a game with or do something with. And then Justin does the exact same. And that we would protect that for each other. So when Justin goes off to play softball or he has something like he wants to podcast with his friends, I'm like, I want to be his advocate and be like, yeah, you go do that. I've got it. I'm taking care of it, and never make him feel guilty, and vice versa. So he sacrifices and, will put his stuff aside to watch Iris and take care of everything that's going on so I can go play games with my friends. And it really just elevates my vibrations, so to speak, for all the hippie friends. It just makes me feel like myself, and I get cranky, I think, if I don't do that.
Slab says, I get cranky when I get so scared by my DNA alarm that I fall out of bed. Sorry, Slab. Slab, we appreciate you. Getting up at this time in the morning, we know is not easy for you. You've expressed that, and yet you are here. And
can you guys just do some love for Slab? Because Slab sent me in our P.O. box for the show that Aaron and I do. He sent me a birthday present. I have a Brahms gift card because you know that I love Brahms and you know that I love tea and tater tots. And so I just thank you. That was such a sweet gift.
JCD says, I get cranky when things don't work the way they should or that I expect them to.
Ooh.
Yep.
That'll make me cranky too, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I get cranky when I'm late because of someone else.
Ooh. No. Ooh, that's a trigger.
Steven says, I get cranky when I don't get to bed on time.
Do you have a bedtime, Steven?
You don't?
No.
You don't give yourself a time when it's like, okay, I'm going to shoot to be asleep by this time.
No.
I'm sorry, what?
No.
You don't even no, that doesn't surprise me. Never mind. That doesn't surprise me at all.
No, I go to bed when I'm tired.
I remember who I'm talking to now.
Sometimes it's 11, sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 3 in the morning. I just go to bed when I'm tired.
Wow. That's amazing. 10 to 10:30 is my window.
I didn't realize that was weird.
No, it's not. Probably it's a personality thing, I would guess. So, yeah.
I wonder how Iris is going to do because she's also part of our family. So, like, we were up until 11:30 last night. Mm-hmm. So, anyways.
Yep.
I keep glancing down just to monitor the sleepy going on. And Iris is rolled over and is snuggling with Dad now.
Okay.
And they're passed out. Justin, I woke up at 4:40 in the morning, and there was a light coming from the other side of the room, and it kind of was keeping me awake. And so I just tapped Justin. I was like, "Hey, your iPad screen came on," and he goes, "Oh no, I'm watching a movie." I was like, "It's 4:40 in the morning." He's like, "Yeah, I can't sleep." I was like, "Maybe because you're watching a movie."
Maybe that's the problem. maybe you should try to sleep. Maybe
Holy
that's
crap.
the thing you should do.
It's 9:50. We haven't even gotten to your topic yet.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
What is your holiday tweener tradition is the A topic this week.
Tweener.
Yeah, don't you have a holiday tweener tradition? I just made it up. I'm sorry. I just completely made it up. It's not a normal thing.
Oh, okay.
Between Christmas and New Year's, there's still a lot of holiday time. Many people have work off like all the way between Christmas and New Year's. Not everybody,
a lot of
people. But many people.
Not us.
So what do you do when it's not like Christmas tradition or New Year's Eve tradition? Like, what do you do that week between? Is there anything, interesting that you do for like a tweener kind of activity? For us, it's often been puzzles. We'll set up a puzzle table and do a puzzle. We've got a Mandalorian puzzle that's almost done upstairs.
Holy crap. I saw that YouTube clip of that woman redoing the Mandalorian theme.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
so well
so
done.
good.
Yeah.
I'm going to post it in the chat so you guys can snag it. For those of you who watched Mandalorian.
Yeah, that theme is will be in my head forever.
I love that theme so much, but I loved it even more after watching this woman redo the theme.
Well, and I think the reason is because the video emphasizes all those different parts of the theme that you may not have picked out like in your brain, and so
because she's doing all the pieces, but like in this really interesting way.
She has a lot of ancient instruments that she uses, which is really fun. So yeah, it works really well. Lolly says, I noticed Danae's clock has stopped. No wonder she's always late.
Oh my God, my clock stopped. But look at it. It's super struggling. Let me see if I can.
Is it like twitching? Is it doing that secondhand twitch thing? It's like, I want to have power. Oh, yeah, I can't. I just can't. I just can't click to it won't go to I just can't.
Ooh. Yeah. Thank you for telling me that. I did not notice. I obviously do not look at this clock very often.
Mariella says her tweener tradition is working on my goals. Getting a head start on the new year. I like that. Jen says, I celebrate my birthday, which is tomorrow. Shameless plug for birthday wishes. Happy birthday, Jen!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jen. Wah, 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 wah. Happy birthday to you.
Very nice.
I don't know what the little wah-wah was, but I wanted to do something extra for you.
Listen. Matt says our tradition is to break down a gazillion cardboard boxes.
I was actually thinking, like, I think mine might be that I now have to undo all the Christmas decorations, right? Like,
yeah,
it's time
I do think of that as a lot of people in the tweener week will do that kind of thing. Sarcastic Honey Badger says that clock has the same amount of motivation as I do. That's me trying to.
Hey, Mariella, did you leave a comment on the Grinch video? I'm curious if that was you in the comments talking about a two-headed scrubber brush. Let me know.
Okay. R1MA78 says my daughter's birthday is in 6 days, so that's all consuming.
That's fun.
That is fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So so you've got Christmas, New Year's, birthday. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, that's
we actually have to decide a bit if we're going to take down decorations, knowing that my mom and my dad are under quarantine. Depending on my mom's test results later today, we don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know how long we're going to be in quarantine.
Yeah.
So are we going to leave up the Christmas decorations so that when they can come over and we can actually have the rest of Christmas with them and exchange the gifts that we didn't get to exchange, that we do it with a tree? Or are we going to just, not? So we have to make that call in the next today or tomorrow. So
Slab says new tradition is to tell my mom to put the Christmas tree back up because she took it down Christmas night.
New tradition. Hey,
That's a good place to transition to our you topics.
That's hilarious.
And we will start with this one from Steven because it's on topic. How long do you think Christmas decorations should be left up for?
What a topic that is indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't mind them being up for as long as you want them to be up. Like this year, Justin, my husband, he really wants to get them down and back and put away. And I think it's because we kind of had a good system going. But I'm struggling. I kind of want it to be up so that when we take pictures of Bummy and Babo over and opening gifts, that we still have the Christmas decor kind of. It just will feel a little bit more like we got to celebrate inside that Christmas window rather than it being something that happens in mid-January. So I'm
leave them
struggling
up
with
as long
that
as
this
you
year.
want. Doesn't bother me at all. That's totally for you and your family to decide. If you're looking at my, do as I do, then leave them up till middle of February because that's usually when we get around to being like, maybe we should take down the Christmas decorations. But that's just because we've got other things that seem to be more important. So.
I remember when we were on the radio and doing our morning show, we would talk about this.
Yeah.
And I just had this great idea. I just want to be able to like press a button and have it descend from the ceiling and then press a button and it just goes back up into the ceiling. Be very, very expensive. I will have to be very wealthy.
So very impractical, but yeah.
There's so much room up
there
there
are
in the
people that
attic.
wrap their tree. There are people that just wrap their tree and store it completely decorated and,
Right?
Yeah,
that seems super smart. And I have a ton of that clear plastic packing stuff because we moved. And so we had to use it to wrap. So it's not saran wrap. What's it called? That's the moving wrap. Anyway, I have a ton of that right now.
Polly says, leave up decorations as long as you need. I never take the lights down from outside the house. Makes sense.
Smart. That is super smart.
Caleb says, my roommate started taking decorations down yesterday and we had a stern convo about it. I want them up till Epiphany, but I settled for January 2nd. So
they don't get to see much light of day.
I guess that is the question. The question can turn then to when's too early to take them down. And that's obviously up to everybody as well. But yeah, I wouldn't want them down before New Year's. I would think I would want them up through the new year at least. But that's just me. That's just personal preference. So I don't know.
This one's from Tyler from earlier, who asks, you question, how much do you think when you watch a movie / TV show, it impacts how you enjoy it? I watched Phantom Menace in the theater at 7, and it will always be my favorite. Fight me. Ha ha.
All right, Tyler, you asked for it. I'm going to fight you. Phantom Menace is an awful movie. No, I'm not.
But he's not wrong.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
How you watch something and the age that you are or the group that you're with. Like, I think about watching Gravity on a normal TV in my living room and how different of an experience it would be than watching it in the theater with the 3D stuff going on and all the surround sound and just being completely immersed in this insane, like, adventure. That, or Avatar or something like that where it's, like, visually just so stimulating. It would be so different if you're just like watching it on your couch.
Totally.
As an example.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my brain got fried by what you just said because I never watched movies in a theater till I was much, much older. But I think as a kid, like your brain, it's not processing things the same way. And so like I look at a movie like Flight of the Navigator is one for me. Like I used to watch Flight of the Navigator when I was a kid on VHS. And it was so much fun. It's just a silly little kid sci-fi movie, and but yeah, when you're a kid, I think that stuff definitely impacts you.
Yeah,
in that way.
I'm understanding the question a little bit better now. When being age?
Yes, not where. Yes, but what you're saying is correct.
Thank
incorrect.
you. Thank you.
Incorrect. There was a you question that has disappeared from our comments from JCD about New Year's resolutions that we can get to. JCD, if you want to repost that question, we can post it, but we can also talk about it even if you don't.
Here's a beautiful comment from earlier. Danae, you're in trouble now.
Slab says, is the dice on the wall 4 and 1 because your number is 41? Good eye, Slab. Good eye. That is absolutely correct.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
My gosh.
That is true.
I should do something clever like that too. No, I'll just throw all my crap in this room. I'll just keep filling up every space with something. I know it's a little jarring for most, but I have so much stuff I want to show you.
Syra Egdo's question is, will you guys be doing a special Morning DNA for the birthday next Monday? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
We will definitely. Oh, I guess Danae's singing to you now. I was going to say we'll sing to you then, but Danae already took care of it. So we won't even mention it on your birthday. Says you brought it up now. We already celebrated it.
That's my issue is there are times mom brain is so real.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not back to my normal self, what I would call my normal self since having Iris, since getting pregnant and having Iris. I've genuinely wondered how I would be doing a radio show or talking to anybody since I can't think of simple words like struggling for the word chair or spaghetti or door frame. These things that just won't come to me. I'm
those
just
are very complicated subjects. So
thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
Here's
I might forget is what I'm saying. I might forget.
From JCD, do you ascribe to New Year's resolutions? Are there any you like to keep from year to year? In general, I think it's funny how as humans, we look at certain days or dates as like, oh, this is important that I do it then, that kind of thing. Having said that, I am human. And it is about this time every year where I'm just like, okay, now I lose a bunch of weight. Why does that happen this time every year? Probably has to do with winter and, putting on calories over winters. And that, again, another normal human thing that's weird. But yeah, no, it's definitely a health thing for me every time about this year. But the problem with that thing of I'm going to start on this day is you don't start now. And if there's something that's valuable and healthy, start now. Right? Like that's how we all should be, but it's kind of almost a way to put it off. Like I'll start Monday or I'll start January 1st or I'll start, it's like, no, if it's healthy, if it's good, if it's something you want to do, just start, right?
Yeah, I realized that I have a strange thing that I've been trying to battle for years and years now, which is this mentality that if you don't start it at a specific time, you've already failed. Why try? I missed the mark. So I'm trying to break that mental barrier. And for sure, New Year's ideas are them because you dream big and then there's the disappointment of meeting a goal, at least for me, because I have a very hard time with follow through already, just as a intensely chaotic creative person. So I don't know. I don't ascribe to them. I rarely do. And if I do, I don't keep track of them because I rarely want to keep track of my failures. I just wanted to shout out to Mariella, who does say, yes, the comment was her.
That was me.
Yay. I'm going to be talking about that on this week's episode of BTS.
Polly says, as my kids get older, I hope I can have more time back for my own hobbies, and New Year's is just a good start line. Yeah, I totally get the good starting point.
Yeah. There are certain demarcations of a new beginning, and certainly a new year is one of them.
Of course. The most successful I have ever been in any kind of like health goal, that kind of thing, was something I started on December 7th. So like it's just that thing of when it's time that I'm talking about. That idea of you're going to be the most successful when you just
ready.
Do it because you're ready to do it, and
yeah, like
and that doesn't line up with years all the time.
I don't remember the day I quit smoking. I don't remember that day.
Right?
I don't remember the certain things that I've done for myself that would be considered a really positive thing. I don't know how many years ago that was.
Yeah.
It's just I decided to stop and I did.
Because you were ready. And that doesn't line up with demarcations. Yeah, I think I could be wrong, but I think if most people look back at the positive changes they made, they just made them when they were ready to make them. And they probably don't fall on a January 1st or a Monday or, the first of a new month or whatever the case may be that we tell ourselves, oh, now's the time. It's time because you're ready for it to be the time. And that can be any moment and should be now. So
do it now. Start on the 28th of December and shock everyone. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us on another Monday. We will hopefully be seeing you more this week on a Sunday, but if not, we'll catch you in the new year. You never know when we're going to pop up except for Mondays. Mondays at 9 a.m. Central is when you can catch the show, but it is a Monday someday. So make sure you are subscribed and you have a reminder set to wherever you stream the show, whether it's Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, or the other platform that we have a hard time saying out loud, but we recognize that we do have fans on Facebook and we really appreciate you there too. Have a wonderful day today. Massive shout out to our Patreon supporters who give $5 a month to our studio to make sure that we can continue to produce this show and
Team
others.
DNA.
You can catch all the information there at patreon.com/Studio DNA.
Still 9 people away. 9
people away from our next little silly goal of playing Dungeons and Dragons together. So we'll continue to give you updates on that. And hey, a big shout out too, if you also just like this style, Aaron does do a show with Andrew and others who join called Sif Pop. So if you go to his Twitch, you can get notifications there when he goes live. Is it also live to all platforms also?
It's live to the Sif Pop YouTube, the Sif Pop Twitter, my Twitter, and my Twitch.
So it's more like on the Aaron side of things, but you can catch all of that there where he reviews movies and things like that. So if you guys haven't caught the Sif Pop show, you can also grab it in podcast form. But he does that every Sunday. So it's another show that you can catch that we produce here on the Studio DNA Podcast Network. And we love you guys.
We do. We will catch you on the next Monday or someday.